FBI director come through this committee who had pled the Fifth before. As you know, when you plead the Fifth, to do it honestly, you have to have a good faith belief that your testimony would subject you to criminal liability, which meant if Patel was being honest, he had a good faith belief that his testimony would subject him to criminal liability.
The FBI director just got caught in not one, but two blatant lies to Congress, under oath, on camera. And we're not talking about some minor misstatement or memory lapse. We're talking about Kash Patel, Trump's hand-picked FBI chief, deliberately misleading senators about court orders that don't exist and transcripts that were never released. This is exactly what we warned would happen. Let's break down why this matters so much. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse just exposed something that should terrify every American who cares about the rule of law. Patel claimed he couldn't share his grand jury testimony because of a court order, except there was no court order. Then he insisted his transcript had been publicly released, except it wasn't released. The federal judge he cited came out and said he was wrong. This isn't a he said, she said situation. This is documented, provable deception from the person who's supposed to be America's top law enforcement officer. Let's start with the basic facts here, because this is important and we need to be precise about what actually happened. Kash Patel is the first FBI director in history to come before the Senate Judiciary Committee after having pleaded the Fifth Amendment. Think about that for a second. The Fifth Amendment is what you invoke when you believe your testimony could incriminate you in a crime. So right from the start, we had an FBI director who believed he might have criminal liability. That's not normal. That's not okay. That should have been disqualifying on day one, but it gets worse. During his confirmation hearings, senators naturally wanted to know what Patel said in his grand jury testimony. What did he plead the Fifth about? What was he so worried about? These are reasonable questions when you're considering someone to lead the nation's top law enforcement agency. And Patel's response? He told senators he couldn't discuss his grand jury testimony. He claimed there was a court order preventing him from sharing it. He specifically cited the D.C. District Chief Judge, making it sound official, legal, and completely out of his hands. Senator Whitehouse pressed him on this because something didn't sound right, and Patel doubled down. He said, quote, "I can't go into court orders granted by the D.C. District Chief Judge." He even challenged Whitehouse, asking, "You want me to violate a court order?" It was a masterful deflection. It made Whitehouse look like he was asking Patel to break the law. It shut down the line of questioning. It allowed Patel to avoid accountability while appearing to be the responsible one following legal procedure, except it was all a lie. Complete fabrication. Total BS. The actual D.C. District Chief Judge, the one Patel cited, came out and publicly stated that no such court order exists. In fact, the judge explained that under Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E, witnesses like Patel are always allowed to share their own grand jury testimony. There was never any legal restriction. There was never any court order. Patel made it up. Let me say that again because it's crucial. The FBI director lied to Congress about a court order that doesn't exist, then hid behind a fake legal restriction to avoid answering questions about why he pleaded the Fifth. That's not a mistake. That's not confusion about legal procedures. That's deliberate, calculated deception. And remember, this is the person Trump chose to lead the FBI. This is the person who's supposed to be investigating crimes, upholding the Constitution, and ensuring justice is blind. Instead, he's lying under oath to the Senate about imaginary court orders. But wait, it gets even worse. Because when Patel was called back to testify again after the judge exposed his lie, did he apologize? Did he correct the record? Did he admit he was wrong? Nope. He told a completely different lie. This time, Patel claimed that his grand jury transcript had already been released. He told Senator Whitehouse, "I'd love my grand jury testimony to be released. I want it made public." Then he said, "I wanted the transcript released, and I will get it to you, sir." He went even further, telling senators, "We can confirm that pursuant to my action, that grand jury testimony has been released. The transcript has been released publicly." Sounds great, right? Sounds like transparency. Sounds like Patel is being cooperative and the matter is resolved. Except, once again, it was completely false. No transcript was ever released. Nothing exists on the public record. Senators checked, legal experts checked, journalists checked. There is no publicly available transcript of Kash Patel's grand jury testimony. So now we have an FBI director who lied about a court order that doesn't exist, got caught by a federal judge, and then lied again about releasing a transcript that was never released. Two separate lies, both easily provable, both told under oath to Congress. And here's what makes this so dangerous. These aren't complex policy disagreements. These aren't matters of interpretation or opinion. These are simple factual statements that are either true or false. Did a court order exist? No. Was a transcript released? No. Patel lied about both. Senator Whitehouse laid it out perfectly. He said this shows a pattern of strategic deception. Patel wasn't confused. He wasn't mistaken. He was deliberately misleading Congress to avoid accountability. And think about what Patel was trying to hide. He pleaded the Fifth, which means he believed his testimony could incriminate him. The government had to grant him immunity just to get him to talk. What was so damaging in that testimony that he'd rather lie to Congress twice than let the public see it? This is exactly what Democrats warned about when Trump nominated Patel. We said he was a partisan loyalist with no business running the FBI. We said he would politicize law enforcement and undermine the rule of law. We said he couldn't be trusted to be independent and honest. And Republicans said we were being hysterical. They said we were playing politics. They said Patel deserved a chance to prove himself. Well, here's his chance, and he's proving us right. He's lying under oath to avoid transparency about testimony he gave after pleading the Fifth. If that doesn't scream something to hide, I don't know what does. Now let's talk about what this means in the broader context of Trump's second term and the systematic dismantling of accountability we're witnessing. Kash Patel isn't just some random political appointee. He's the director of the FBI. That position is supposed to be insulated from politics. FBI directors serve 10-year terms specifically so they can outlast any single president and maintain independence. The FBI is supposed to investigate crimes without fear or favor, regardless of who's in the White House. But Trump has never believed in that independence. He's always viewed the FBI as his personal police force, and anyone who doesn't show absolute loyalty is an enemy. Remember, he fired James Comey for investigating Russian interference. He tried to get Jeff Sessions to protect him. He's attacked every FBI official who dared to investigate him or his associates. And Kash Patel? He's the ultimate Trump loyalist. He wrote a literal children's book casting Trump as a hero and portraying FBI agents as villains. He's talked about going after journalists and political opponents. He's promised to weaponize the FBI against Trump's enemies list. So when Patel lies to Congress about his grand jury testimony, it's not just about one transcript. It's about establishing a pattern where accountability doesn't apply to Trump's people, where lying to Congress is just another day at the office, where the person in charge of investigating federal crimes thinks laws don't apply to him. And here's the terrifying part. If Patel will lie about something this easily disprovable, what else is he lying about? What's he doing behind closed doors that we can't verify? How is he using the power of the FBI when cameras aren't rolling? We already know Trump wants to prosecute his political enemies. He's said it out loud. He's promised retribution. And now he's got an FBI director who's willing to lie under oath to protect himself and avoid transparency. This isn't just about Kash Patel. This is about whether we're still a nation of laws or whether we've become a nation where the powerful can lie with impunity as long as they're loyal to the right person. Democrats have been sounding the alarm about this for years. We've been called alarmist, hysterical, Trump deranged, but everything we warned about is coming true, and it's happening faster than even we expected. Here's where we are right now, and why this moment is so critical for the future of American democracy. Senator Whitehouse has laid out a clear, documented case that the FBI director lied to Congress twice. Not alleged lies, not possible misstatements. Provable, documented lies that have been contradicted by the very Judge Patel cited and by the simple fact that no transcript exists in the public record. In a functioning democracy with a functioning opposition party, this would be career-ending. Lying to Congress is a federal crime. It's literally what they impeached Bill Clinton for. It's what sent people to prison during the Trump-Russia investigation. It's supposed to be a bright red line that you don't cross. But we're not in that world anymore. We're in a world where Trump's people can lie under oath and face zero consequences as long as they maintain loyalty to Trump. We're in a world where Republicans control Congress and have shown absolutely no willingness to hold anyone in Trump's orbit accountable for anything. So Kash Patel will probably face no real consequences. There will be no special counsel investigation. There will be no impeachment hearings. Republicans will either ignore this completely or make excuses about how Democrats are just playing politics. And that's the crisis we're facing. Not just that Patel lied, but that lying has become normalized, that accountability has become optional, that the guardrails of democracy are being systematically dismantled by people who view laws as obstacles rather than obligations. If the FBI director can lie to Congress about court orders and transcripts and face no consequences, then what's to stop him from lying about investigations? What's to stop him from fabricating evidence against Trump's political opponents? What's to stop him from using the full power of federal law enforcement to settle political scores? The answer is nothing. There are no guardrails left. There's no accountability mechanism that Republicans are willing to use, and that should terrify every American, regardless of party. So what do we do about this? Because sitting back and watching democracy crumble isn't an option. First, Democrats in Congress need to be relentless. Senator Whitehouse did exactly what he should have done. He documented the lies, he got confirmation from the judge, and he's demanding the transcript. Every Democrat on the Judiciary Committee should be echoing that demand. Every Democrat should be calling for a criminal referral for lying to Congress. Every Democrat should be holding press conferences and making this story impossible to ignore. Second, we need to be clear-eyed about what we're up against. Republicans are not going to suddenly develop a conscience and hold Patel accountable. They've proven over and over that they care more about party loyalty than constitutional obligations. So Democrats need to stop expecting bipartisan cooperation and start fighting with the understanding that they're on their own. Third, this needs to be front and center in 2026. Every Republican senator who voted to confirm Kash Patel needs to answer for that vote. Every Republican who stays silent about his lies needs to explain why they think lying to Congress is acceptable. Make them defend this. Make them own it. And fourth, the American people need to understand what's at stake. This isn't just insider Washington drama. This isn't just political theater. This is about whether we're going to have an FBI that operates under the rule of law or a secret police force that serves one man's political interests. When the FBI director lies to Congress and faces no consequences, that's how democracies die. That's how authoritarian regimes consolidate power. That's how the rule of law becomes the rule of whoever has the most power. Senator Whitehouse said it perfectly. Once truth stops being the baseline, everything else collapses, and if lying to Congress becomes normalized, oversight dies. And when oversight dies, democracy follows. We're watching that happen in real time. We're watching the safeguards fail. We're watching institutions bend and break under the weight of corruption and loyalty to one man. But it's not too late. It's never too late, as long as there are people willing to stand up and demand accountability. As long as there are senators like Whitehouse who won't let lies go unchallenged. As long as there are Americans who still believe that truth matters and that no one is above the law. So here's what we need from you. This story needs to be everywhere. It needs to be shared, discussed, and amplified until it becomes impossible to ignore. The mainstream media will probably cover it for a day and move on. Republicans will try to bury it, but we can't let that happen. Share this video with everyone you know. Tag your representatives and demand they take action. Call your senators and ask them what they're going to do about an FBI director who lies under oath. Make noise. Make this a story that doesn't go away. If you believe accountability still matters, hit that like button. Subscribe for more coverage of the Trump administration's assault on democracy, and drop a comment. What should the consequences be for an FBI director who lies to Congress? Should Patel be impeached? Should there be a criminal referral? Let's talk about it. And remember, staying informed isn't passive. It's the first step to staying active. Democracy doesn't defend itself. We have to defend it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video where we'll be covering the Republican response, or more likely, their deafening silence on this scandal.